Welcome everyone. Welcome to Tech Talk Friday, and it's yet another Friday. And today we've got an exciting show. We've got CREST with us and Split with us. A couple of leaders from each of these organizations, and of course we have the amazing Karamjit Singh who will be joining us in a short while. But before we start, I want to just bring in a new guy, Nigesh, to join us. And just before Nigesh gets up and running, I want to show a product that Nigesh actually runs for us. So with that, let's watch this. Welcome to Tech Talk Friday again, and I've got Nigesh Arman with us. Nigesh, you're joining us now as part of a new host that's going to be, or co-host that's going to join us. We already have two Indian guys. Now we have to add a third one. It's invasion of Indian guys in the tech space. But welcome to the team and welcome aboard. So guys, for watching, Nigesh is going to be joining us. Nigesh, the head of Cool, right? So cool app that Nigesh leads. At Ramix Digital called Nicole, and tell us a bit about yourself, Nigesh, before we bring in the mighty, the bearded man, Karamjit, to join us, and we'll have three Indian hosts. Tell us a bit about yourself so the Tech Talk viewers can learn a bit about our brand new host for Tech Talk Friday.
I think it's one of those cases where Indian men just like listening to our own voices. So we just like gathering into shows like this. But a little about myself, I'm part of Leaderonomics Digital. So actually, if you want to know the true story of how I got on board in the show, I do watch it. I do watch it every Friday. And I am curious about tech. So, I run a digital product in Leaderonomics Digital called Nicole, learning experience platform, something new that is coming to everybody so that everyone can become or choose how they want to learn. So that's the whole idea of Nicole. But I guess for me, passion is tech. Recent passion is tech. But I've been a guy who's been an engineer, who's been in marketing, who's been in advertising, who's been in training and development. So from the traditional to virtual right now, and someone who's extremely passionate about innovation. So that's a little blurb about myself. And I'm just actually getting ready for so Roshan described the show as the Wild West of tech every Friday. So I'm getting ready for what's going to happen here.
Did I? That's something that comes from Karam's mouth, not mine. Okay, but anyway, let's bring the man himself. And he's dressed in red today. I think he's a big Liverpool man, so he's gonna tell us how they're gonna win this weekend.
So this is the man I'm afraid of.
Yeah, no. I'm actually contemplating switching to Man City lah. So you better not publicly say I'm a Liverpool fan. So I may just switch lah.
Okay. I think we should all switch
to maintain my record of being on the winning side, for the last eons, for the many eons.
It's been a very
no. That is a very shallow word that does not understand the true sense of a soccer fan. Okay, I'm a purist and I despise, I detest, and I object to that categorization.
I thought you were like a Man United fan at one point, and then Chelsea fan.
No, never Chelsea, never the Russians.
Okay, we've got a great show with us. Let's shall we introduce our next guest? But Jaffri Ibrahim, who's going to be joining us from CREST. Nigesh, Karam would like to share a few words about Jaffri, and let's bring Jaffri into the show.
Maybe Karam.
I'll go. So Jaffri actually started CREST the same year DNA was launched, which was in 2012. So I never remember dates, but I always remember when CREST was founded. It just coincided with DNA around the same time. And he's been running it for now is 9 years and coming up to 10 years. So it also tells you his ability in leading the organization, because he was doing a poor job. They would have let him go after 6 years. He was doing a crappy job. They would let him go after 3 years. So he's still here after 9 years. So that speaks for itself. And, we've also brought him on, Nigesh, because of this latest initiative they're doing. And they seem to be deepening their tentacles into the area of healthcare and innovation. And I remember they started in 2018, Jeffrey, right? Yeah, you partner with Microsoft, Ministry of Health to do something also. But before you go there, this one is interesting because it's like the nexus of academia, private sector, government sector, and then trying to inculcate innovation and creativity, right? So you tell us what is iConnect about, and if you need to hark back to 2018, the Microsoft collaboration also, go ahead.
Okay, so a bit of a background about CREST. It is a not-for-profit organization, and it is actually a unique, organization in the sense that it was formed by the industry. So the industry went to government, and they basically made a pitch to basically form a catalyst organization to basically bring out the strengths of, government, industry, and academia. So we started with that in 2012. We were managing a little fund that basically, funds collaborative research. So that sounds a little bit odd because research, normally companies do it by themselves and they don't share. So we basically have to break the mold and get them out of their shells and basically find ways to collaborate with, academia and smaller companies and so on. So we've been doing that for the last, as you say, 9 years, and we've been going from strength to strength. But what we found was interesting is that our model seems to be, attracting a lot of attention from government. Essentially, they found the strength of the collaborative model to be interesting because, finally we have an organization that doesn't just pay. It's a one-way street, of funding from government. It is a joint development between industry and government, and it seems to be working. We've been completing projects, and it is finding its way into the marketplace, which is important.
That's important. Yeah, very important.
It's important. So based on that, our model is expanding into other areas, other verticals. In 2014, we had a big meeting with the industry captains, and they say IoT is important, but we want to use our knowledge in IoT to apply it into a vertical. And they named 4: healthcare, transportation, industry, and retail. And we took healthcare and we approached Ministry of Health, and that's when you correctly said we formed partnerships with large organizations with agenda on healthcare, and one of them is Microsoft, also MOSTI did a study on us, and they found the model to be very useful. So
really? They did a study on CREST.
Exactly. Yeah. So a report came out, and it's called the New Economic Opportunities, and they say that based on the CREST model, if you do a collaboration, you will get the strengths of of the 3 different
respective parties. Yeah. Wow.
Exactly.
Right.
So with that, they identified 4 areas to which they wanted to apply our model, and it's health and wellness, it's halal, it's fintech, and it's industry 4.0. So they asked us to basically make a pitch for health and wellness and industry 4.0, and we've been awarded to both.
Both. Okay.
And we started off with health and wellness.
Okay.
So recently in March, go ahead, Karam.
No, I mean, being a skeptic, if you're a journalist, you're a cynic, right? You're a cynic, you're a skeptic. When I look at Academy Science Malaysia, I look at the profile of them. It's just all academics they may not be in their ivory towers, but they have not been out in industry. They've not taken risks before. So why are they a central part of this also? So that makes me worried that this could be something that's just for the moment is hot, and then they lose interest when they find the going gets tough, which you are already well familiar with, and it's going to happen. So am I being too cynical to say that, hey, I see ASM there and I don't think this can go far?
Well, yeah, essentially what we represent is essentially how to do more towards the applied research. And I think that produces results, and academia has been struggling. I think they've been doing R&D, and it's very primary research, and it may not end up with something that's productive. So we basically drive the parts where industry identify the areas that they want to R&D and collaborate with academia and produces the results that basically everybody gets to appreciate.
Okay. Sorry, Nikesh, I cut you off. Were you going to say something?
No. I think
Okay,
the
okay.
question you asked was the same question I had in mind as well.
Okay, man. I think, oh boy, we are. I can read your mind, man, bro. I think Roshan, you don't even have to come on for the next part. We'll just go from here, lah. You can go for your takeaway, bro. Because Nigesh has just jumped on and grabbed the saddle, okay, with both hands. No, but okay. So this, sorry, Jaffri, you've got 15 founding members here. Isn't that too many? How do you obviously want to create quick wins and bring in members earlier? So how did you come up with 15? And didn't you say, guys, let's start with 8 or 9 and then we run after that? Because you can always add on, right? So
Yeah.
why was that 15? Or you had no control over it? Or did you have any say about how many founding members there should be first?
Well, if it was up to me, I would have landed with the number of about 9 or so.
Okay.
But Academy Science said, well, let's do 15. Because primarily we tried to, we wanted really more towards industry, academia, and government. But they added another element. So it's a quadruple helix. So it's a civil society. They wanted
civil society, like NGOs,
to have NGOs to have a say. So we basically created a place for them. So out of the 15, 2 are coming from the civil society.
Okay, understood.
Right.
But okay, so Jaffri, before if you can just give people a sense of CREST wider beyond just healthcare, because I think we didn't explain what CREST. So each alphabet has a meaning, right? So C is for the collaborative, right?
Absolutely.
And then R is research.
Yes, in engineering, science, and technology.
Super key areas, all 3 of them, for Malaysia's competitiveness.
Yep. And the reason why we set up in Penang is because all the big boys since the 70s have set up in Penang. So we needed to be there among them to basically plan and chart the path forward. Yeah. So we've been there, and basically we've got plans. And as you know, primarily the big boys up north are the electronics sector. Yeah. So the Intels, the Motorola's of the world, and so on. So we basically sat with them and formed, very, very, lots of plans and tactics in terms of what areas of research they want to do. And we've identified those, and we've got 6 clusters. LED, IC design, and IoT, advanced materials, advanced manufacturing, and drones. So these were topics that they defined, the industry captains defined. And we went off and said, well, these are the areas of research that industry wants to do. So where do you stand, academia? I mean, do you have the expertise to partner with them? So it's a really good, way of opening up doors.
Oh yeah, of course.
Identifying areas to do R&D.
So Jaffri, before I forget, when you say opening up doors, if somebody is an entrepreneur listening to this and is hearing about iConnect, how do the entrepreneurs, the subject matter experts in the ecosystem, partner and be part of this?
We would welcome them. Essentially, we have a link in LinkedIn. You just do health and wellness, iConnect Health and Wellness, and you should be able to get that. Just join and get into the discussion.
Okay.
The founding members' job is to basically to facilitate conversation in the areas where there are opportunities for people to basically collaborate. We are also managing a fund to do R&D in health and wellness. So basically, we'll do all the pairing, we'll do the matchmaking, and so on. And eventually, they can submit their proposals, and it will be evaluated by a panel of their peers. To which, if they're successful, then it will be co-funded by government through this iConnect grant.
Okay, so can you, because my ears pricked up. If I wasn't wearing this, ear covering headphone, you would have seen my ears pointing up like Spock. So, how much are we looking at? And and when you say it's a co-matching, how much does the entrepreneur have to put in?
So that's the difference between us as well with other grants. We don't normally put a ceiling to the.
Interesting.
Why we do that is because you can't put a cap on ideas. So we want people to come in with the big ideas.
Okay.
But you can come up with a big idea that costs a lot of money, but it can be done in phases. So for example, if you submit an idea that costs multiple millions, we'll break it down into pieces, and you have to prove that it can be done in those pieces.
Nice. Well, I like that approach, Phil. But can you just give an idea of what's the amount? You say you've got a certain amount of funding, so that's the lump sum. Are we looking at what, $10 million US? 50,000 ringgit, which is Roshan's monthly pocket money. I don't know.
No, okay. For the iConnect, it is a 2-year program.
Okay.
And essentially, we're managing on the government's portion a 4 million fund.
Okay. RM or US?
RM.
Okay, because we got people from non-Malaysia listening also. So got yes. So that's about 1 million US lah. It's quite easy. Okay.
Yeah, it's about 1 million US. Yes. But we're expecting that won't be the only portion that goes into the funding. So it can be multiple sources. It can be companies, and it can be other grants and other funding institutions and so on. So that's the beauty of collaboration.
All right. So is this something new, or is something that you've seen in maybe Korea or Singapore or Taiwan, and say, guys, that works. Let's bring an adaptation of it to Malaysia.
Made in Malaysia.
Wow.
All made in Malaysia. This is Malaysian innovation for you.
Fantastic, man. So that's why I think, Nigesh, we got to bring Jaffri back on the show a year from now.
Yeah.
To talk about iConnect again, right after 1 year. And we'll see, hopefully Jaffri's hair is still black and he's still got the same nice lush top there. If he's very thinning like you, then it's bad news. Then we maybe don't ask him.
This is not even thinning. This is already gone.
Yeah, then we don't ask him how I connected. We just change the story. We talk about football then.
But Jaffri, I think something you mentioned, that the Malaysian-made innovation thing, I think that's a powerful message that everyone should take back, because we hear on the street that Malaysians, we're not exactly the best at creating and innovating, and we like to suka copy lah. We'll take the copy and we'll kind of pay. But I think what you're doing is super powerful.
Yeah. So actually, Nigesh, I've been around, meeting with Malaysians all over the world, and we're definitely innovative. It's just that we need to basically come together as a group and put our heads together and believe in ourselves. I believe we can do a lot of things if we actually work together.
Yeah. So that's why collaborative is right at the front of CREST.
Absolutely.
And I think not just Nigesh, right? I mean, Aziz, Kevin, say CREST has been an empowering platform to encourage industry and academia to work together. This model should be replicated in other areas and verticals. I mean, I guess is it being replicated in other verticals at this point in time?
Okay, so a minister met us one time, and I brought the captains of industry to meet the minister. I won't say who, but that minister says, "I love your model. Can you be part of my ministry?" And I had to decline, because I think the key part of our success is that we're agnostic. We're not part of science ministry or
ministry,
education ministry, because the trouble with this country is, if you're part of a ministry, it's you're in that vertical, and maybe you're on your own.
Yeah. So and then the KPIs, right? The KPIs and the benefits accrue to that ministry, that minister. And it's a horrible thing we are stuck in. You're right.
Yeah. So you have to believe that we're actually working with the industry and trying to create that value. Yeah. So that's our motto.
I think, Jaffri, you kind of answered a question that was nagging in my head. Like, I was thinking, why health and wellness? Why IR 4.0? And you kind of already said it. Being agnostic allows you to go where it's needed.
Yes, absolutely.
So, Jaffri, one of the fun parts of Tech Talk Friday is that you get to be challenged in this Test the Guest challenge.
Wow.
And you've got,
is that a prize?
In the next 1.5 minutes, you get 5 questions, and you.
Hey, Jaffri's asking for a prize. He wants to know the prize.
Yeah, the prize is going to buy you dinner, right? So it's a very good prize.
Okay. We'll remember.
Sometimes he makes you pay, but that's beside the point, right? So, but you get dinner with Karam, so that's a prize in itself, right? So you very quickly answer questions. So, number one, what's the most interesting Wi-Fi password that you've ever seen?
Secret. I think it's very interesting why people still use secret.
Secret. Okay. And all right. Okay. So the good question too. What's the most outrageous question you've been asked?
What's the most outrageous question you've been asked? That's the most outrageous one.
Really?
I don't know.
We win.
Oh.
Good question. Okay. I think I can ask you this in one sentence.
Okay.
How would you sum up the My Digital initiative?
Okay. My digital initiative, the strength of it is when many people come together and have a common goal, we can basically, direct people to greater things.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. You know how Karam summarizes it? I love PwC. Okay, so moving on. If you could know the absolute and total truth to one question, what question would you ask?
Okay.
You ask who killed JFK, but never mind. I mean, one question, and you'll get the
Okay.
you'll get the absolute. What question would you ask?
Okay. Why are we here?
Why are we
Wow.
here? Is that like
Question of
why are we here,
existence.
or why are
Why are
why
we
am I
here?
here on
Yeah.
TikTok with these three Indian men? Why are we here now?
Yeah.
I like to think it's the question of existence.
Okay, all right. We'll go with that.
Okay.
And the final question, we'll have question number 5 is what advice would you give Karam and Nigesh to improve Tech Talk Friday?
Be gentle on me. I just joined today.
Too bad, too
Okay.
bad. With great
I
responsibility. Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I think we need to bring in the young people. The really young people. I think the next segment after me are really young people. So I think we need to hear
Yeah.
their voice. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I think that's very good. When I saw them for the first time, I said, "Wow, how old are these guys?" And I'm happy to see it though. But
12,
it's great.
12 and 13, I hear. But
So the advice is get less people who look like Karam and more people who look like me.
Exactly. With a little bit more hair, actually.
Uh,
yeah, I have a little bit of hair. Okay, never mind. And Jeffrey, just to wrap up this segment, what advice would you give our viewers? I mean, your final thoughts, right? One, I think, is to leverage CREST,
Yeah.
but I mean, what other kind of advice would you leave with us as we close out this segment?
So I think, like you said earlier, Malaysians are really innovative and creative people, and I think all of us want very similar things. And I think what we really need is the right leadership that brings us all together and drive us, to greater things. I think that's what all the average Malaysian wants. Yeah.
Very good. So, Jeffrey, thank you so much. Karam, any quick takeaways from the session with Jeffrey?
No, I mean, he's doing a very good job. The fact that he's been running it for now coming up to 10 years, right? And if you go up north and you talk to a lot of captains of industry, almost unanimously, they say that CREST has been a great positive for the ecosystem there. So it's doing its job. People like to think that sometimes government form agencies probably do half as good a job as they can. But I think CREST is an example where you almost exceed expectations. So credit to Jeffrey and the team he has built around him, which I understand is mostly women.
Yes, majority women, and not by design, but
Yeah, yes,
by merit.
Yes.
All right,
thank
guys,
you.
thank you so much. We will be taking a short break and we'll be back here in about a minute in Tech Talk Friday. This has been Tech Talk Friday with Jaffri Ibrahim, joining us from CREST, Karamjit Singh, Nigesh Arman, our co-host with you today. So let's take a quick short break.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Tech Talk Friday, and we just had a segment with Jaffri Ibrahim from CREST, who joined us and shared a little bit about that. Karamjit Singh will be joining us. For those who don't know, Leronomics is now doing its Series A, and so if you have 2,500 ringgit, about 650 US or 7 US dollars, you can own us, and I have to be calling you boss. Because you become part and parcel of ownership, owner of Leronomics as a shareholder. Karamjit Singh, welcome back to Tech Talk Friday. You look very dark suddenly. It looks like you suddenly, I don't know whether you're meditating in a corner there, reflecting on the words of wisdom from Jaffri.
I was just reading back.
Now you're back in the light, as Yoda will say. Welcome back, Karamjit Singh. So we got a couple of teenagers, 12-year-old and 13-year-old joining us, right? Dylan and Vish, right?
We just got their identity card also, which you get after you turn 12 in Malaysia. Yep.
Oh, there you go. So you got this young man, and check out Dylan's look, man. He's staring at you right there. So we're gonna bring Dylan and also our buddy Vish, and of course, don't forget the Arman himself, Nigesh, to join our show. So welcome guys, and welcome to Tech Talk Friday. I was told just now during the break, Roshan, we don't need you anymore. Bugger off. Nigesh is better than you. So I understand when I'm unwanted, so I will remove myself. So good luck, guys. And Dylan, congratulations. I think you look like 18-year-olds, but I think Jaffri had it wrong when he said he was 12 and 13, right? You're definitely slightly older than 13, right?
Guys, I warned you, this is the Wild West of tech on Friday.
Hello. Hi, Karam and Nigesh. Welcome to the team. It's so nice to be on the show. And we just turned 15 now. PMR this year.
Yeah, nobody knows. Don't tell anyone. Actually, it was the same.
Don't tell our investors, please. Yeah, that we are 15.
I wore the same shirt, so you guys.
You guys are pushing that border of youth innovation and youth business owners. So all the power to you guys.
Yeah, Jaffri said, let's get younger people. So here we are.
Great, awesome. So maybe let's start with that, and maybe Karam can jump in a short bit. But let's start with you. Like you guys right now, I think you are both in a bit of a unique situation, right? I remember before we got on, you said that you're waiting to come home. You're waiting for home to tell you that he can come home. But also at the same time, you've created something called Split. So maybe a little bit of origin story.
Yeah, so nice to see all of you viewers out there watching. My name is Dylan. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Split. Vish is my co-founder and CTO. A bit of background about me. I'm originally Malaysian. I'm from Penang, actually. I moved to Singapore when I was about 18 or 19 for university. And then after studying there, I started working in the online travel industry. Some of you might have used Skyscanner before. That thing you used to travel back when travel was still something we could do. It so happens Vish and I quit our jobs at the same time. We met each other. We met each other about 3 years ago, and we thought, you know what? Let's start a company together.
So you guys just gave away that you're not 13 and 15, right? So maybe Vish, what about you?
Very nice to meet you all. So I think my path to meet Dylan was a bit different. So I'm from India. I'm about a year younger than Dylan, or a year older. I don't know. But all my life I've been working in small to medium-sized startups around the world, in the US, in India, and I think Malaysia really pulled me towards it. And I most recently, before Split, I was working at Fave to help build their Fave Biz and Fave platform. So I think that gave me a lot of exposure to the Malaysian economy, how payments work, and the gaps as well. And I think there's a lot of interesting things that we could do there. So I moved on from Fave because I was really inspired by everyone, all the founders, and really wanted to start my own someday. And I met Dylan, and we started our journey together.
Right.
Did you meet in Singapore? Because Dylan said he was working in Singapore all this while, right? So you were, but Fave is based in, or were you working in the Singapore office of Fave, Vish?
No. I was in the KL office. I was there for 2.5 years. And I moved to Singapore in search of a co-founder.
Oh,
And you
really? Yeah,
founded it.
interesting. So, but did you just meet at industry event? How was it? A friend connected you all? How did that happen?
Yeah, we met through our first investor. So our first investor, what they're called is a talent investor, where they find people with diverse skills and then they help. It's almost like matchmaking or Tinder for entrepreneurs, right? So that's why we met each other through this common investor, and then little did we know, we hit it off. We had chemistry, we had a great vision, an aligned vision for the future, and then the rest is history, lah. We started working together.
Wow.
Right. Wow. Okay, so maybe I'm a noob to this, and you guys were talking about, and I read up on what Split does, but this is interesting. Buy now, pay later, and you said that this is a trend that is really popular in Europe right now. But how did you fall on that being what Split was going to do, and why that?
Yeah, so I think for context, some viewers right now would have heard about buy now, pay later, have seen it in the news. It's in the news a lot recently. But I think if we wind the clocks back about 5 to 10 years, this trend started out in Europe, in Sweden, with a company called Klarna, in Australia with a company called Afterpay, and you'll see them very successful, multi-billion-dollar companies running around.
Oh,
the
really?
world.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
So many of them are publicly listed as well now. So I think it's just a matter of time before something like this reached Malaysia. So when Vish and I started this company 3 years ago, it was a different company. To give you some context, because I came from the travel industry, the first company that we started was in the travel industry for payments. And it's probably a really bad time to run a travel startup, especially at the end of 2019. Yeah. So it was just last year in April where we had to pivot our company into something else. And then we discovered this was a gap in the market. This was a demand for consumers and businesses. So Vish clearly is the brains behind it. And then we built something together. And then we started scaling this buy now, pay later since last year for Malaysians. Maybe Vish, you want to explain the concept of buy now, pay later for those who don't know about it?
Yeah, sure. I think.
And how many of them end up extending it to buy now, pay never?
Yeah, so with any sort of buy now, pay later business or lending business, there will be certain levels of delinquency, and the key ingredient for success for buy now, pay later is managing that delinquency. So it ranges, all around the world, but I think we've been able to manage that diligently. We conservatively scaling and making sure we make the right decisioning.
Yeah, and I think just if you see COVID accelerated, kind of was the catalyst for buy now, pay later becoming very widespread and visible around the world. But it actually existed before that too. So I think when you dig back on what the problem was, what buy now, pay later is actually doing is trying to replace a broken credit card system.
Really?
So,
wow, broken.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you see, credit cards are on the decline globally around the world. And I think Malaysia, we're in a very unique state where credit cards are increasing, then globally credit cards are reducing. So we're kind of in like a cusp. So it's a great time for us to introduce a better solution that works for the interest of the consumer, right? So maybe let me elaborate a bit more on how this works. So let's say you have a credit card, right? Your credit limit would be 5 to 6 times your salary, something based on your income. And let's say you hit your credit limit, you can still keep purchasing more and more. And how does a credit card make money? They charge you interest. They depend on you paying late or not being able to pay back. Get it? That's the fundamental thing that buy now, pay later is trying to change. If you were to use Split, you would never fall into a debt trap because
never. Wow, that's a big promise, man. Never fall into a debt trap. Interesting.
Absolutely, and we will stand by that because we give limits and we kind of keep the threshold. If someone's not able to pay back, we immediately not let them take any more payments, right? Make any more payments. Unlike a credit card, so you get an overdraft, you can still keep taking it.
Yeah. So maybe for context, how Split works is we are a payment method. So typically we partner with businesses in Malaysia. Right now we have about 350 Malaysian businesses that are working with us. Before the consumer checks out, as they are checking out, they can choose Split as a payment method. And then they can pay in up to 3 interest-free installments without having to use a credit card. I think the main difference, like Vish is talking about, we don't charge any interest, we don't charge any late fees, there's no annual fees. And when Vish says you can't fall into the debt trap, we really mean it. We don't make money when consumers miss their payments. That's entirely by design.
Wow. That's just wondering if you do that, then that's the low-hanging fruit. Right? How you? What's your business model? How are you making money? What did you're making money on the spread? Because that's amazing.
Yeah, so how it works, I think this is part of our education for consumers when they ask us, how do you make money? So how we work is with the merchants that partner with us, we have a success transaction fee. So if we deliver business to them, they will pay us like a small percentage fee of a success. That's the only way we make money.
Wow. So literally you're like a referral network then, which is why, because I saw you like, I think there was a data point in your article where 20,000 referrals, right? A month or something, and they say crazy. That is like a lottery. Every day of the month is a lottery, man. If in a month you can give 20,000, that is overall or per business you're able to give them 20,000 referrals. Just on average a month you are able to generate 20,000 referrals to your network of these 120 clients, right? That's what you mean, correct?
Yeah. So our value proposition to merchant is very straightforward. If you're a business that works with us, when you offer buy now pay later, you tend to enjoy incremental sales, which is a no-brainer, right? It's obvious when you offer interest-free installments without the credit card, you're basically covering every Malaysian adult, which gives them access to purchasing confidence and more likely to convert and check out with you. And because when users use our service, we have a huge user base of people who love our service.
Okay.
And they use us as a way to discover new merchants to shop with. So if you go to our website right now, paywithsplit.co, you can see our store directory and where you can shop. And we are tracking how many people have we been delivering to all our merchants. On a monthly basis, it's more than 20,000. So if you think from a merchant perspective, on the customer acquisition, you're typically spending dollars in CPC on Facebook and Google ads. So we tell them, you partner with us, you don't pay anything for these referrals, you only pay us if we give you a sale.
Highly attractive. So, but then how are you generating those referrals? So then are you the one spending on Google AdWords and you just do it better than cheaper than them?
No, it's a very virtuous cycle. So merchants who partner with us, they put us on their website or in the store. So if you walk into any Dyson store, for example, you'll see our QR code there. The customer scans it or they check out on the online website, they pay the first installment to us. We will pay the full amount to the merchant upfront. So they don't have to worry about cash flow, don't have to worry about payments. And every month the consumer pays us back. Yeah. So then the consumer now works with us, and then next month when they pay their installment, hey, you know what? You can shop somewhere else. So that's how we sort of deliver back our users to our merchants.
Understood. So I think it says you mentioned 120, but I think you've got 250. So there's a difference in the number there. Can you explain that?
Number of merchants?
How many merchants? I heard you say 120, but I think your press release said 250.
Yeah, so right now, since that last press release, we're now at about 350. 350.
Wow. That's a lot. So, but okay, how do you, you say you pay the merchants up front, right? Which is a sweet deal for them. It's not like you've raised, $50 million or whatever. You haven't raised that much money, and yet you're able to give the merchants, pay them upfront. So how are you able to make up the shortfall? Because it sells, just doing a rough back of the envelope calculation, doesn't seem like you've got enough in the kitty to be able to roll that way, or I've got it totally wrong.
Okay, so how it works. So since we started in April last year, I can say we've already delivered more than 20 million ringgit of sales to all our merchants, and they're always, of course, they're very happy about that.
Of course,
and so in terms of how we are able to deliver that sales, and because we are paying the merchants up front, then it begs the question, right? We need the money to do that.
Correct.
But the nature of our installments is that it's up to 3 installments. That means they pay the first one today, second one in 30 days, third one in 60 days. Some people pay in 2 installments, half upfront, half in 30 days.
Okay.
As a result, our capital cycles very fast. Every month we get back the past money, we deploy it again. And the past month we get it back and we deploy it again. So that's sort of how the cycle works. The more people who use it, the next month you will get that extra capital back in, deploy it again. So that's how we work.
But even to me, still, you're paying the merchant the full amount and you're only getting back 1/3 or half from the merchant. There's still a gap. So how are you making up that gap first?
Yeah, so we are venture capital funded, led by 500 startups. We also have a group of angel investors from around the world.
Around the world, okay.
Yeah, so we have, I think BNPL, everybody knows about it around the world. So we've got a lot of investor interest. So that's sort of how we are scaling.
Oh, that's right. So you don't have a bank, that loans you money on tap, right? You can borrow from the bank. No, because that doesn't make sense. Then you're borrowing at 4% or 5%. So, that totally negates the value you're trying to create then, right? So you're not getting it's not a commercial bank somewhere giving you a short-term loan to make up the shortfall, right? That's totally not the game.
Not at the moment, but we are exploring in discussions with some banks to work out this sort of, we call it receivables financing.
Okay, receivables, okay. Interesting. So look, neither of you is a financial expert, but it seems that the success of this is some financial, management and realizing the margins and where to capture the value. So who came up with that? Who did the numbers and say actually this can work? Because so between the two of you, who is that?
Okay, to be honest, like neither of us knew anything about finance. At least Dylan has done some course in accounting, I guess. He's
not nowhere near enough. Some works in accounting.
Yeah. So I come from a product background. Dylan comes from strategic planning background. But I think this is where a startup kind of plays in, right? And as a startup founder, the early days, you gotta have to do everything. And I think we just sort of forced ourselves to learn this slowly. Wow. And I think as a startup, we have a lot of advisors on board. So some of our strategic investors are also advisors. They advise us on what to do, what's the right thing. They give us the know-how, and it's up to us to kind of scale that up, deepen our knowledge, and then go forward.
Yeah. So how long did that process take?
Yeah. So
years.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I think what I will say is that we made a lot of mistakes along the way. I mean, now looking back, it sort of worked out for us, but we screwed up a lot. We made a lot of mistakes. We lost like money from frauds potentially when you're super early stage, when you first started out. But I think as we made these little mistakes along the way, Vish and I constantly keep speaking to our customers. What do you need better? How can we improve our service? We speak to our merchants as well. How can we serve you better? So I think that iterative process, it's the founder thinking, the tech startup founder thinking that Vish and I have tried to develop and tone.
No, but it's very impressive. First time entrepreneurs, right? Both of you, and you what you just said is something that comes from a seasoned entrepreneur. Maybe they screwed up their first game, right? Lost all the money and then came back at the second game, and then they learned the lessons applied from the first failure. But you didn't have that. You just learn quickly as you're running your first, your first startup, and that's very impressive for guys who are so young and not from the financial, background. So that's, I guess you've got very, I guess you also can say you've got very, very good mentors then, and who've been also patient with you and expecting you to make mistakes, but you've shown that you can learn fast, which means you probably listen better. So when you made a mistake, you listen better to some people who, hey, the guy actually told me that and I didn't take him seriously or didn't take her seriously. I'm not sure. But there's something that you got right. So that's kind of impressive.
Okay, it's great. As always, I'm here to give you the easy questions at the end. So
hey, you didn't take your own advice, Roshan. You were gently told you were not needed on today's show. We're still talking. We're still got stuff to ask them.
I'm a bit thick-skinned when it comes to test the guest challenge because nobody can escape, right? So both of you are going to get. We will start with who wants to start, Dylan or Vish? Who wants to go first? And then we'll keep it that way. Okay, Vish, you go first, right? Because you're from India. All right. So. We have a policy, Indians first here. Okay, so with that, what is the most useless talent you have?
Oh my God. I guess I can spin a basketball in my hand, like Vishnu Chakra.
That's pretty useful, you can...
you can join. You can form the Harlem Globetrotters India.
Exactly. Okay, Dylan, for you, who would you like to see on Tech Talk as a guest?
If Andrew Yang.
Yes, anyone get.
Andrew Yang.
Who? Andrew?
Andrew Yang.
Andrew Yang. Okay.
Andrew Yang.
Okay. All right.
He's a...
Sorry, Andrew, are you saying what? He's a...
Andrew Yang. So he was the ex-presidential candidate for the US election, the first Asian one. But he was the guy who was preaching technology, the fourth industrial revolution. It's going to take away a lot of people's jobs and propose a lot of really cool solutions. Like
UBI. To me, that's the big one, right? UBI.
Yep.
Yeah.
Universal basic income. I'm a huge proponent of it. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. Wow, interesting. Okay,
Vish, easy one for you. Question number 2. What's the best purchase you made? Since you guys are purchase people, right? So what's the best purchase you ever made?
AirPods. Best purchase ever.
All right.
AirPods. Yeah.
And for Dylan, what's the worst purchase you've ever made?
The worst purchase I've ever made.
Probably right?
Yeah, when I was younger, I saved up a lot of money to buy a a very expensive guitar because I love playing guitar. Yeah.
That's the worst purchase.
Yeah, because I used a lot of my pocket money for it, and then I was just stuck playing the
You
guitar.
like the guitar, man. Okay, never mind. We will refine your answer. Okay, Vish, what's your biggest screw up?
Oh my God! Now I need to order it up.
Anyway, it's just public. It's like, you're just telling 1 million people what your biggest screw up was.
Oh my God!
You're like Elon Musk,
Was it founding a company with me? Is it?
I think if you asked me 1
think
year
let's
ago,
say
I would have said that.
All right. Is that what you want to go with?
Sure.
We'll let you patch for marriage in a bit.
You know I'm right here, right?
While Vish is repenting for his sins, in one sentence, how would you sum up Karamjit Singh?
Wise. That's
Wise.
Wise.
Jeez,
Yeah.
that's one word.
Wise.
Okay,
Why?
okay. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, Vish, what's the most interesting thing you've read or seen this week?
Oh, quite interesting actually. Did you know that gold is actually from exploding stars? Gold is actually made inside the heart of a star, and when it explodes, it scatters it out throughout the universe. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. I learned that this week. It's pretty interesting.
You learned that on TikTok Friday, nothing but learning. Gold is formed from a star. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
so
it is harvested from the blood, sweat, and tears of near slavery. Yeah.
okay, Dylan, this one I think you love. What's the weirdest thing you've seen in someone else's home?
Oh, wow. Again, I have to rank this. I've been to a lot of houses before. Let me see. Vish, I think maybe in your house, I might have seen something weird there. So, but for me to save you because you're in this house, I'm not going to bring that up.
Yeah, Jaffri's going to win this. You guys are losing this competition. Okay, the last two questions very easy. Okay, so it's just going to be would you rather questions, right? So, Vish, would you rather find true love or a suitcase with $5 million inside?
Since my fiance is watching, I'll say true love.
Oh, okay. Nice, very nice. And what about you? Would you rather be alone for the rest of your life or always be surrounded by annoying people?
Always be surrounded by annoying people because, like Vish, the best purchase I got was these noise cancelling earphones. That's sort of like the case in the office right now. Too. Vish and I are annoying each other.
We've got a bunch of people that says hi to you guys. Dylan and Vish, great meet you guys. There's a question: how did you guys overcome the stigma of being too young? We will get to that. Jaffri says Dylan is good. Not sure what that means, but Dylan, you're good. Okay. Vish,
thanks, Jeff.
Jaffri says Vish is not. Dylan is good. All right, there you go. Zashi says you should host your own talk show. So there you go. Nigesh is replacing you. Yeah, there you go. The Dylan and Vish. I don't know. Drink along with Dinesh. With Dylan and Vish. All right. All right. With that, I just want to bring Jaffri back into our conversation and also our main man Nigesh. So now we have a room full of men.
Whoa.
As we wrap up,
Where are the women?
ask around.
Or maybe we should take advice from Jaffri because he has got more than 50% of people there.
Okay, maybe just to wrap up, just love to hear your final thoughts, Dylan and Vish. In terms of any final words you want to have for our viewers.
And before that, are you looking to have you started looking at your next round of funding, or you're going to wait a little while longer?
Yes, we've already looking at next round of funding. Stay tuned in the next couple of months, and I can share maybe updates then. Yeah.
Hopefully, it's a big round, man.
Yeah.
Well, Karamjit is coming in with a round, right?
Yeah. If you guys are coming in, then it will be a big round. All of you.
No. Then it's going to be a mega round. Okay. Then you got to give your story to TechCrunch or Financial Times first.
Yeah. But remember, while if you have some little bit of spare change, don't forget go to Funnel and put it there, because next week we close. You got anything 2,500 ringgit and above, put it in there. You'll get your money's worth, right? So that's a closing of Series A next week. And if you need more information, you can always send an email to info@leeromics.com. So I think with that, Jaffri, just to wrap up, and again, what are some of the lessons you've learned from today? And I'll go through one by one. Or one final thoughts of wisdom and nuggets you want to impart. So I'll start with Jaffri, and then we'll go to Vish and Dylan, and then we'll end with the bearded man himself, Karam. But Jaffri, your final thoughts for today?
Well, I always am impressed with Dylan and Vish. Yeah. So with their session, I'm actually quite encouraged that our young is taking on challenges and making a name for themselves. So it's great, and I want to see more and more of those.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. And to the 15-year-old Dylan, your final thoughts?
I turned 15 next month. Okay, I'm not 15 yet.
Okay, so 14-year-old.
Don't age people, Roshan. Don't age our guests.
Yeah. So I think maybe in summary, many people would have not heard of buy now, pay later before. Like Vish and I, we have a very gargantuan task of educating Malaysians that this is a more favorable and consumer-friendly alternative instead of a credit card. We really aim to disrupt the credit card system. I think this is a great start in introduction. I hope to be back and tell you our more detailed plans and how we aim to take over Malaysia.
Fantastic. And we see Dato Munira, who says, hey, well done, Dylan. And Vish, looking forward to hear more success and achievement from you. And there's Penang Power, right? So I think
Kevin.
There you go. So fantastic. Some thoughts. And Vish, your final thoughts?
No, I think this is a great format for educating people and also inspiring, right? I mean, I listen to Tech Talk Fridays. I think keep doing this, get more guests on board. That's it. I love this. I love the community and sharing.
So
community and sharing. Yeah.
But Karam is kicking me out, so so with that, as I get kicked out of this show, Nigesh, your final thoughts as you take over.
I don't know if I should stay here anymore and let you get kicked out, but I think again, like for everybody who joins the show, and I think there's a following right now. Vish kind of said it. It's the community that gets built in the show, and especially I think it's the sharing. And I think Jaffri kind of said this very early on. A lot of things, a lot of new things, a lot of great creations happen when people work together. So don't forget that. I think here's a space where you get to hear others talk about it, and perhaps it sparks an interest in you, it sparks an idea in you, and reach out.
Yep. And there's a guy called Jaffri Cha. I think it's Love in You, Dylan. He just says, Dylan, Karam, get Dylan back. Vish, no, right? So sorry, Vish.
Jaffri must be one of the angel investors in Dylan, okay? I suspect so.
Dylan personally, right? Not in the two.
No, it's split in the company, I suspect it's an angel investor. He's too gung ho, man.
But he was Dylan, no, not Vish. Okay, so with that, the man with the beard, your final thoughts as we wrap up this episode of Tech Talk Friday.
No, I think first of all there are two segments, because one, we are talking about a government agency that is trying to bring the ecosystem together to work together, right, to unleash the potential each of them collectively have, right? Because the sum of the parts greater than the whole, and he's been doing that very well, and it's a great model.
Although Karam, there's a guest who says CREST is not a government-formed agency.
Yeah, true.
He's right. Yeah, he's right. It is. It belongs to the community. Yes.
But what about MOF? Isn't MOF a party to this also in some way or form, Jaffri? MOF?
No, they're actually a stakeholder, but they're basically not interacting with us directly. Shall we say?
Thank you, for correcting Karam there. But Karam, go ahead.
No, thank you, Aziz. Great. So, but it's a great initiative. So it's where you're listening to your stakeholders, right? So you've done a great job, and government has been supportive of what you all are doing also, and that's clear. That's important. Absolutely. And then with I think with these two young men, what I'm most impressed is how they, and everyone has to listen, because you normally are told you need to have domain expertise in an area to be able to find the opportunities. Obviously, Vish had an inkling of it through working with Faith, right, which is which is in the payment space, and then that's how you got connected with Dylan. But they don't have that financial engineering background, and yet they were able to learn fast. And honestly, they made a lot of mistakes, but critically they learn very fast also. And if you got supportive investors, right, you can go very fast. And they're both showing that now. And they got incredible merchants, and that model to pay merchants upfront, to me, that's quite gusty. right? For them to do that in the Asian context, if they bounces off their friends, people say, hey, shit, man, no lah, you can work in the West, you cannot work in Asia lah, no way lah, you're a fool lah. People are gonna rob you all, and you're gonna end up in the street in your underwear, any pagoda underwear, because you're from Penang, you're gonna end up in your pagoda underwear in Penang, right? Nobody's gonna have sympathy for you, sure, bodoh punya orang. But they've done something. They've been bold, they've been brave, and they're being rewarded now. And hopefully they can keep executing and building a better team, right? And I'm looking forward to you going to Indonesia. We're going to be up against the big giants, right? The local giants. That'll be a real challenge for you there. So I look forward to that. You logging heads with them.
All right. Thank you guys, and thank you, Karam. Karam, you're in Penang, right? At this point in time.
No, he's in Singapore, but he's a Penang.
I thought you traveled to Penang yourself.
How did you go out of the state, lah?
I don't know. He's got special friends, lah.
Oh no! I'm in Ipoh now for a wedding, but I'm from Penang. No, I told my cab driver I was born in Ipoh, but I grew up in Penang, but then I'm earning a living in Kuala Lumpur. So I'm from like Selangor. I'm in Penang. I'm in Perak.
So that's your strategy, lah. You confuse the police with
Karam
the
is somehow found a way to cross the state boundaries and is in Ipoh today. But with that, it's Tech Talk Friday. Another weekend beckons. I am heading to catch Aaron Sama drinking away in BSC. So we'll see you guys. Have a great weekend.
Community, you're forming community.
And there's a secret society that is being formed by Karam with the tech guys. So look out for that in the next few weeks. With that, thanks a lot for you've been watching Tech Talk Friday with us. We'll see you next Friday, 6 p.m. with Karamjit Singh, Nigesh Arman, and myself, Roshan Tira. We're signing out for the weekend. Have a blast, everyone. We will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.